Hi, welcome to today's class. And today is song structure secrets. Song structure secrets. What makes a song memorable? That's our topic for today. If you're just tuning in, this is the virtual music lessons that we'll be having every Saturday to inspire, teach, direct, advise everyone who is under the creative space who has something to do with anything around inspiration, creativity, and birthing new ideas and dreams. This is where you find inspiration because this is the Sapphire community, the creative catalyst. Welcome you specially again. And today's topic, like I said earlier, is song structure secrets. What makes a song memorable? So I'm going to start by asking you a question. That's the question I want to ask you. And it's simple. Why do some songs stay in your head for 10 years and others disappear in 10 minutes after you hear them? What do you think is responsible for it? That's the first thing that I want you to answer. What is that? Why is it that some song stays with you for 10 years, some 20 years, some 30 years? It depends on how long you have lived on this terra firma. You realize that there are several experiences that people have had rather concerning songs that has a way of making them feel a certain way. So this is just to speak to saying that what makes songs memorable is not just the song. There are lots of factors, there are lots of things put together that makes one song different from the other song, that makes another song maybe less memorable. You will not blame the singers, you will not blame the artists, but they also may not have the full picture of what makes a song memorable. So, as a music coach, I'm going to be explaining to you what I have found, what I have realized from experience and from teachings and from other opinions that I've sampled, what makes a song really memorable. And I'm going to be sharing that with you tonight, and that is the aim of the class, that by the end of this particular class you know what makes a song memorable and the things to apply, the things to look out for in your own song, in your own next project, whatever you have to do concerning music in the creative space. So the truth is, we all have experienced this, right? When you hear a song once and then you are humming it all day, that is not an accident. Trust me, that's a design. It's not an accident. It's not something that just happened by chance. No, there's a design that you are responding to. And today, I want to show you that memorable songs are not lucky. They are properly engineered. Memorable songs are not just lucky songs. Maybe the person just stumbled on it. No, I've come to let you know that memorable songs have a pattern and they have been properly engineered to make you feel that way. So structure is the hidden architect behind every great song. Structure, that's the hidden architect behind every great song that you hear, every song that has stick to your mind, stick to your brains for that long or for this long. Structure is right behind it. And once you understand structure, excuse me, please, then you gain control over every emotion. Anything that makes you understand structure, then you begin to put context to every emotion. You have control over it. You now know what to do, what not to do, how to do it, how not to do it. As a pianist, I've learned that harmony is very powerful. But you see, structure, Structure is even what makes harmony unforgettable. The structure of the song, how many times is the soprano going to come in? How many times is the alto going to come in? After we are done having alto, are we going back to melody? Are we going back to the top? Structure can give beauty to even a bad song. And contextually, bad songs are also contextual. What you call a bad song may have a season that is going to pop again. What you call not so a good song at the moment may be a reference track later in the future. And like I said, if you understand structure, you will gain total control over emotion. You know, always pay attention to something. That structure is what makes any given piece of song, harmony, or accomplishment rather, that gives it or makes it unforgettable. So we're going to be learning this tonight concerning number one, the psychology of memorable songs. There's a psychology to memorable songs. And as a music coach, I have found out different ways. I have seen different patterns of how these songs are engineered. So I call it number one, the psychology of memorable songs. Before we talk about verse and chorus, we need to talk about the brain. Because memorability starts in psychology. And there are three things that the human brain loves in music. This top secret I want to share with you. Let it stay with you. There are three things that the human brain loves in music. Right? There are three things the human brain loves in music. And this is the banger that I want to share for you or share with you. Number one, familiarity. Familiarity is one of the things that the human brain loves in music. Number two, repetition. Repetition. Again and again. Repetition. Yeah. And number three is what I call emotion. So I'm going to explain these three things that the human brain recognizes or loves to see in music. And I'll start by familiarity. You know, there's this popular statement that says that familiarity breeds contempt. In music, familiarity is something that the brain loves. The brain loves patterns, recognizable patterns. That's why most songs follow a predictable flow. Verse, chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, verse, chorus, a verse, chorus, bridge or vamp, chorus, outro. If music was completely random, we would not connect to it. Let me do that again. If music was just anyhow, like anyhow, you just have it. Anytime the verse comes, the verse comes. Anytime the chorus comes, the chorus comes. Anytime this one comes, this one comes. No, you will realize that it is because music has pattern. That is why it's enjoyable. So think about it. When you hear the verse, the first verse, your brain is already preparing for something bigger. It's expecting the chorus. That expectation is a powerful expectation. Yeah, it's a very powerful expectation. Number two, which I called repetition, is simple. How does the brain work is what we should just project. Repetition builds memory. It makes it stick. Repetition builds memory. It makes it stick. You know, that's why the chorus repeats. That's why hooks repeat. So you see that chorus a lot of times, they repeat chorus a lot of times in the song. That's also why they repeat hooks too in the song. So the more we hear something, the more our brain says, this is important. Remember this. This is important. Remember that. This is important. Pay attention to it. This is important. Remember this. You know, that is not just art, oh. It is neuroscience. It's the working of the mind, psychological. Boom, boom. It comes again and again and again and again. It comes like that. You know. The third one is what I call emotion, and this is why this one is the most important one. For every human, there's something about us that remembers how a song rather, makes us feel. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Emotion locks memory. You know, if a song has structure but no emotion lift, you forget it. You just not remember the song again. So structure must serve emotion. You must design it. Yeah, emotion must be designed. So everything we are about to talk about today is about one thing, which is delivering emotion in the most effective way possible. If nothing stays with you, remember this: delivering emotion in the best way or the most effective way possible. That's our aim. Delivering emotion with the most effective way possible. So now we go to the part two of this class, and I titled this part Song Structure Fundamentals. Core strong, I'll say that again. Core song structure fundamentals. Core, very important. So we're going to break it down to the most common structure in modern music. All right. And usually the most popular one I will find is the one that I will have chorus, verse, bridge, chorus, outro. That's like the most important, the most popular one that we have. This format dominates pop, it dominates gospel, it dominates R&B, it dominates rock, it dominates almost everything, pretty much around. So the verse is the story, like we all know. The verse is where we build curiosity. What is the song about? Is what sets the scene. It tells the story. It introduces emotion quietly. Then the verse is usually lower in energy, like it's not as robust, it's not as boom. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like reduced. I mean, usually lower in energy. And as a pianist, imagine playing softer chords here, like less rhythmic intensity, pace, flow. The verse makes the listener rather, lean in. The verse makes the listener lean into the music. So, for example, think about Someone Like You by Adele. Brilliant song, sweet song, well structured song. The verse is intimate, it is personal, it is almost conversational, like you both are talking, you know. It pulls you in before the chorus explodes emotionally. So the verse pulls you in, boom. And then what comes next? The chorus, which is the reward of the music. The chorus, every chorus is the reward of every music. So the chorus is the emotional destination where everything you have put together is going to land, where everything you have done together, cooked together, where it's supposed to land. So if the verse is the question, then the chorus is the answer. Do you understand what I mean? If the verse is the question in the music, then the chorus is the answer in the music. Simple and plain. Okay. So the verse is louder, it is higher, it is more repetitive, it is more emotionally clear. We know the destination already. The chorus is not where you are, it's not where you complicate things, right? It's not where you try to. Mm-mm. The chorus is where you try to simplify. It is where you simplify. Example, look at this song, the Uptown Funk by Mark Robson. If that one that featured Bruno Mars. What do you remember about the song? What do you remember about the song? Uptown Funk. I mean, that's very popular by Mark Ronson that featured Bruno Mars. What do you remember about the music? Don't believe me, just watch. Just watch. Here are the things you remember. Simple, repetitive, and direct. That's intentional. Straight up intentional. Straight up. Then the bridge is where the surprise is. You know, the bridge prevents boredom. The music has just been going. Yeah. So what the bridge does in the music is that it prevents boredom. And after hearing the chorus twice, the brain starts to predictably, it starts to predicting it too easily. So what do we do? Just surprise it. How do you surprise it? New chords, new melodies, different emotional angle. Then boom, back to the final chorus. So there's an example I want to share with you. Hello by Beyonce. The bridge shifts emotionally before the final lift. The bridge of that song just shifts. Boom. That contrast makes the last chorus feel even bigger. That contrast in the music that was introduced. Boom. What it does is that it now makes the chorus at the end feel bigger, broader, fuller, brighter. That's the work of the bridge. Puts in a new question, uplifts everyone's emotion before the final lift. So this is how we land in part 3, and I call this one the power of the hook. The power of the hook. The hook in the music. Bam, bloom, bloom, blah, bloom, blah, bloom, bloom, blah, bloom. Bada, boom, boom, blah, bloom, blah, bloom, bloom, blah, bloom. Do you get it? So it goes like that. Bram, bloom, bloom, blah, bloom, bam, blam, blam, blah, bloom. Yeah, that's how it is. So the hook in the music has power. So let me say something bold. If your chorus is weak, your song is weak. That's it. You can have beautiful verses, you can have deep lyrics, you can have complex harmony, but if the chorus doesn't land, then the song will stick. The song will not stay. So a lot of people is asking, or they will ask, you or me will also be asking, that what is a hook? What is a hook in a given piece of music? And it's simple. A hook is the part people remember without trying. The hook in the music is the part people remember without even trying to guess it. They just remember it anytime. So the problem you may have is that different songs will have different hooks. And in fact, they may be seen in maybe sometimes in the intro, maybe sometimes in the verse, sometimes in the chorus, sometimes maybe anywhere else in the song. So the difference is that when you now try to be intentional about the hook, then you know where to put it, which makes us to remember what I said concerning structure. That structure is what makes every other thing beautiful in a given piece of music. So again, I said before that a hook is the part people remember without even trying. So it can be a melody, it can be a phrase, it can be a rhythm, it can be an instrumental line. For example, in Ed Sheeran's Shape of You, that rhythmic melody line, that's the hook. Dun, 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 dun. Do you get what I'm saying? That path is the hook. It repeats. It's simple. It's sticky. It has a way of staying. So there are 4 traits of a memorable chorus. Please pay attention to this. Stay with me. There are 4 traits of a memorable chorus, right? And number one is simplicity. It's simple. If people can't sing it back after one listen, then it's too complicated. I said that. If people can't sing it back after one listen, then it's too complicated. Number two that you have to pay attention to that makes a memorable chorus. Number two is repetition. This part is crazy and it's brutal. Repetition builds familiarity. Familiarity builds liking. Simple. I'll say that again. Repetition builds familiarity with the song, and familiarity builds liking. If you are familiar with something, then you can like. Then the number three is higher melodic range. The chorus usually climbs higher than the verse. So if you find yourself writing the chorus and it's now lower, you may want to check why that is. Okay? So higher pitch equals emotional lift. If it's raised a bit higher, not the change of key, but the music itself, if it rises a bit, higher pitch equates emotional lift. So as a pianist, please try this in your own time, or as a singer, as a music producer, as a song arranger, as a music director. Try this at your own time. So I want you to write out this. If you can send it to me, if you are able to do this, I will give you a gift. So try writing this. The first thing is keep the verse melody narrow. Then open the chorus wider. Keep the verse melody narrow, like reduce the melody a bit. But for the chorus, open it wider. Let it be brighter. Number 4, emotional clarity. The listener must instantly understand the feeling of the music by the chorus. If not, confusion kills memorability. What are you repeating twice? What are you repeating 3 times? Get to it. Okay? Now, part 4 is energy and dynamics. Energy and dynamics. So let's talk about something most beginners ignore in songwriting. Number one thing is energy movement. Energy movement is key to understand. Flat songs are forgettable. Low range songs are forgettable. Dynamic songs are memorable. So draw and describe this. What do you see as low? What do you see as medium? What do you see as high? What do you see as highest? What do you see as resolution? Then that's the emotional arc that you need to pursue in your song. As it has to rise. It has to. So that's the emotional arc, something that can keep you structuring your piece of music well. So there are some techniques I want to introduce for you to try, and I would love it if you're able to share your experience with me after trying this. And the number one is there are techniques to build energy, and the number one is add instruments gradually. So you find songs that people have, like maybe the piano was introduced, or sometimes it's just the sketchy, and then maybe the pad comes in, the shakers continue, and you have some cymbals. Before you know, you hear a rhythm guitar, like that. So all of those things is deliberate to create the emotion, so it goes up to understand the emotional arc in the music. That's why I said add instruments gradually. Then when you start doing that, the next thing to do is to increase rhythmic intensity bit by bit. After that, raise vocal intensity too a bit. Then the last one, number 4, is change harmony tension. When it gets to a range, rewrite the harmonies. Let soprano now take tenor. Let alto now take like that. It's deliberate. So an example I want to give you is that song by Adele again, Rolling in the Deep. Listen to how the energy builds layer by layer. See, trust me, nothing is random. You need to cut off it from your mind to say, man, maybe I can just do music that like that. Nothing you listen to music is random. All right? Everything is intentional. Everything is intentional. So this is the part 5 that I want you to pay attention to. Is that advanced industry techniques that I want to show you. Advanced industry techniques that I want to show you. Now, let me give you some industry secrets. Pay attention. You're not paying for this, don't worry. Number 1 is what we call delayed chorus. You hold back the chorus longer than expected. Now the listener craves it. Then you anticipate. Anticipation increases impact, There's a way you anticipate for something. It increases impact. The next thing, the drop. Right before the chorus, you remove everything. Boom. And then, boom. That silence is impact. And then you drop the impact. So what silence does in this context is that silence creates power. That's anticipation. Boom. And then you drop it. Then the final chorus lifts. Let me explain something to you. On the last chorus, you add more harmonies, more instrumentation, maybe even a key change. That's how you reach the climax of a piece of music. So look at this example. Classical key changes are huge in songs written by Whitney Houston. If you check it, there are lots of classic key changes in our music with Whitney Houston. You see, the final lift feels triumphant. So what she does, she might not be singing, and then she gets to a place, she just put it up. She uses that a lot if you know her music. So I want you to pay attention to this if nothing sticks with you on this particular episode. Let me leave this with you. Great songs are not accidents. Yeah. Any song you listen to that is great is never an accident. They are emotional journeys built on a structure. Somebody planned it. Somebody planned it. So, structure creates expectation. Expectation creates tension. Release creates memorability. Simple. So, if you master structure, then you can control emotion. Then, with that, when you can control emotion, you create songs that people never forget. So, as musicians, especially as singers, artists, musicians, songwriters, music producers, always know that we have harmonic power. But when we combine harmony with intelligent structure, we don't just play songs. What you end up doing is that you create experiences. So, paying attention to these structures and how it works is very important, and you need to put it to practice from time to time. What this would do for you is that it helps you understand how songs that you have heard that have stayed with you for a while, that stayed with you for a moment, how those songs were created. You understand that it's not random. Nothing ever is random. And I hope that you are able to put this into practice and find a way to get used to how structures makes a memorable music. It is okay to understand the instruments, it's okay to have a good voice, but you need to understand beyond that what makes a good song, a memorable song, a memorable song. So till I speak to you again next coming Saturday, stay inspired. I remain your music coach, Shile Okeshino.